thanks for joining me, Bishop Bill. And today we're focusing on the statement put out by the Australian Catholic Bishops' Conference, which is a crown for Australia, striving to the best we can as a sporting nation.
Well done, Helen, you remembered that nicely.
However, in terms of our faith, and would you be able to put a local perspective on that national theme for us?
Well, I think as a nation, Australia's very much involved in sport and deeply interested in sport, and in Newcastle even more so. Some of the towns of our diocese, of course, the local sporting clubs are just part of the fabric of society and have been forever. It's terribly important in our society, no less here than elsewhere.
So, Bishop Bill, some of the darker sides of sport, the gambling, the exploitation, the drug addiction, etc., how might we send out a positive message to children by combining our sporting beliefs with our faith?
Well, I think that sport is very much about participation at its best, rather than being all about winning and all about fame and celebrity and all the rest of it. Fortunately, at the top level in many of our national sports, while we have those problems that you talk about, we also have, and have had down the years, some fairly sterling examples of sportsmen and women who have kept their feet on the ground and been fairly self-effacing and have been keen to promote their sport with juniors and so on as a healthy thing and a good thing for teamwork and all the rest of it. I think we just have to, ideologically and the way we talk about things, fight the fight for sport as a good, healthy, recreational, community building participation thing, rather than all fame and glory and winning.
Do you think sometimes it's fair to say that sport's a microcosm of society? So if we see violence on the field, we then see it in the streets?
Well, I think that our sports people are often role models, and unfortunately, if it seems to become okay to, niggle away and marginal cheating, all the rest of it, let alone the darker things you mentioned, like drug taking and all that, unfortunately, if those things are promoted by people who genuinely are role models, then they can filter off into the susceptible who admire and even idolise them. Equally, the great examples that some sports people give are there to, they're a positive force around us.
What about, if we were to say, let's take a major sporting event, how might we parallel the good things that would come out of that, be the Special Olympics or the Rise for Alex round? This weekend we have the Close the Gap round. How might we then parallel our faith?
Well, I think that sport at its best, like churches at their best, are about bringing people together, about seeing that people are included. That's where things like school sport and club sport are often much better than elite sport.
Yeah.
But you put the kid on because you want to give her a go, rather than all about winning. So look, those things parallel church life. If they're about community, if they're about people being included, if they're about having an eye out for who's missing out and a bit of justice and considering the individual and all the rest of it, sport can parallel religion. It even has its own sort of liturgy and its big celebrations and its high masses,
Particularly in Melbourne. The MCG is the church.
Particularly in Melbourne.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The fact that parents are responsible for children's faith development, perhaps the ugly parent syndrome may be something that also takes a hold of sport. So is there a message that we can give out?
Yes, I think parents, please don't try and live your life through your kids' sporting achievement. Be pleased that they're active, that they're participating. It's not, oh, my kids are better than your. If it becomes about the parents' prestige, then that's a problem. Invest in your kid having a good time, not in them being the greatest thing ever.
And on Sunday, September 28th. We will celebrate Social Justice Sunday, but a lot of people won't know about your own sporting prowess, you as the Bishop, or do you have a favourite team, or where does sport fit into your life?
Well, I grew up playing rugby union in a moderately distinguished form.
Is that the game they play in heaven? Is that
That's the game they play in heaven. It was also the game they predominantly played on the Sydney North Shore. So, look, I played rugby till the ripe old age of 35 or something. I played rugby league at different times. I've always been a tennis player. I was a squash player, and though it's not really sporting, the bushwalking thing and all of that. Look, I owe a lot of good times to sport. What did you ask me in the first place?
About your prowess.
About my prowess. Well, look, I've never been a championship player in any of these things. Good, fair, average.
Fair enough. And so what would you like to see done throughout the diocese on Social Justice Statement, on Social Justice Sunday and beyond, rather than make it simply a one-day event?
Well, I hope that the statement and the prominence that's given to it on Social Justice Sunday does start a conversation about, what's good in the way we do our sport. What have we really got to get out of the whole sort of sporting framework? To keep it clean, to keep it at its best, to make it a positive force in the community, and not an undermining of sort of all kind of ethical values because, if they can do it, we can do it, sort of thing.
And in true sporting fashion, thanks for talking to us today.
Thank you, Helen. Good on you.